Okay, I'm going to show you how to fully weight and assemble this little baby. This is a Claire Taylor sculpt. It is Alyssa. She's a 2008 sculpt. So I just have her put together for show. No weight or anything, but I do have some polyfill in the middle. So what you're going to need is you're going to need a nylon stocking, a pair of scissors, some premium polyfill, and then you will also need some fine glass beads. Okay. Oops. All right, so to weight the head, I'm just gonna untie her here. Well, actually, I'm not gonna weight the head just yet because I'm also gonna show you how to put the magnet in. So I'll do the head last. So we'll do limbs. Okay. Now, every artist probably does this differently. This is just the way that I do it. And yeah. So this is a 3/4 limb. Even on 3/4 limbs, actually, I don't quite go this far. So full limbs, I go all the way up to the elbow in fine glass beads. In 3/4 limbs, I only go up to about there. Like in between the elbow and the wrist, like halfway. And then I stuff it full of the polyfill. I'll fill in this right here with polyfill, and then I will attach it back. You can also make a circle felt to go on this, or they also sell plastic plugs that you can put in to keep the filling from moving around or anything. Honestly, they're not needed, but if you feel like you need to use them, you can use them. If you pack the polyfill tight enough in there, and then you pack the polyfill in there, those beads aren't going anywhere. So they're perfectly fine without a seal, but you can trace this around some felt, cut it out, and seal it with E6000 would be great. Okay. We're going to do that to all the limbs. We're going to fill them between the elbow and the wrist, halfway with beads, the fine glass beads, and then the rest is polyfill. On the legs, I do go up to the knees. If these ones are a little bit, these have longer legs, so I would go up to the knees on these ones, but if they're a shorter thigh, then I would probably go in between the knee and the ankle. I would go maybe like 3/4 the way in between of the beads. Then what I will be doing for the body is I fill up, I'm not even sure how much it is exactly, but I have this plastic cup here. I guess I could weight it for you real quick. I have this plastic cup, and I do this for the body. Let me measure that for you real quick. So okay, so this is about 14 ounces, and I feel that I wrap this thing around it, and this is a whole stocking here. Dump that in there. This will be the body's weight. Now, for this size is what I'm using it for, and she is about I don't know. Let me measure for you. Here. She is about 20, 21 inches. And so I do about 14 in the middle, or in the body. So if she was a smaller kit, I would do less. If she was a larger kit, of course, you would do more. But for this size kit, I would use about 14. Because I like the way that feels. I tied it in a knot, this whole thing, and then I'm going to cut it off. Okay, so this will be stuffed in the middle of the body, in the middle of all the filling. Then you have your cut off nylon. So you're going to put a knot in the end. Okay. So I'm going to put the knot in the end. In the head, I usually do half. So whatever I did the body in, I do half of that in the head. So I put 14 in that, so I will do 7 in the head. Okay, so that's about 7. I do leave this one, I leave with a little bit more room. I hope you can see that. See, there's like some space in between. That way it's more movable whenever you go to stick it in the head. It makes it easier trying to get it through the hole. So if it's more flexible to stick in there and it won't pop your bag. You can double bag these too if you'd like to. I usually don't, but you can. But these glass beads are fine, but they're also large enough that they do not go through the nylon. This is who I purchased from, and I actually found them on eBay, and they're excellent. Their price is excellent, especially for all that you get. Their customer service is awesome, and shipping is super quick. I really like to order from them. And it's not dusty or anything like that. It's very clean, very nice, clean beads. And it feels great. The big premium polyfill I purchased from Joann's. Occasionally Hobby Lobby, or can't remember if I purchased from Michael's or not. I don't remember, but I know I purchased from Hobby Lobby and Joann's, and it is just the big box of polyfill, premium polyfill that they use for like teddy bears or, you know, stuffed animals and stuff like that. I like the way it feels. It's easily movable. It doesn't clump up or anything. Like, it's really soft and everything. It doesn't clump. I like it, and it's a great price for all that you get. Okay, so I will just assemble her together now. Now, I don't know if you can see in there, but you can see where it's at. You can see the elbow joint. It's right here. See my finger in there. And so you can see where it's at. It's a little bit, it's probably like 3/4 the way. 3/4 the way, like right here. And that's actually just fine. Just make sure it's packed down in there. And then you take your polyfill and you just pack it in there. And just pack it tight so that those beads don't move around. Okay. There you go. Then you're just going to take a little stuffing and put it into the joint, the little shoulder. Now, you don't want it to be puffy, so you don't want to, whenever you tighten it up, to look like it's like puffed up. Okay, you want it to be like the same width as the arm, so it's like a smooth transition. So let's see how that looks. So there's like no exact weight or anything like that. You just gotta go with what you think looks great. Okay, and actually I really like that. It fits around the thing real nice. That's perfect. So I am just going to tie this into a bow because this kit is actually going to go to a customer who just purchased her for an air dry paint. So she's going to be all assembled and put together and ready to be painted. So the next one. You can see that. And it's about like right there. Okay, and then just grab a little bit. Go. There we go. That's that. Okay, I had already stuffed this body so that she could see what the baby looked like put together. So I'm going to take out about half the stuffing. I'm going to set it down. I'm going to grab the body filling and I'm going to put it in. On top of that filling, I put it in the middle, like in the middle of the belly, just because I find it the easiest to work it, all the filling around it. So I'm grabbing a little bit of the filling and making like a little pocket for that, for those beads to set in. Okay, so you're not going to fill it, you're not going to fill the beads. And then you're going to stuff this back in there. I'll probably do a little less because I don't need all of that, I don't think. And then you're just going to work this around the whole top. And whenever you're filling the body, you can also add one of those scent wafers. Just know that they don't last forever. So another option for adding the scent wafers is just to put in their diapers. So then you don't have to worry about taking apart your reborn and just adding it to the body. You can just add them to the diapers. But some people like to add them to the bodies, and this is where you would do that. So you just fill around. Make sure you're not filling any of that, those beads. You can just kind of like, just gotta stuff it in there. Make sure. Probably stick all that in there. Okay. Okay. There we go. And then you can kind of loosen up a little bit what's on top, so it still has filling up in here. A little bit. But then you want it to be kind of loose, like right up here. Like right at the chest area, you want it to be loose because it makes it more flexible, and you can position it more in different positions, and it's more cuddly. So like when you go to bend the baby, it bends more naturally, like in a cuddle position and stuff. So you want to, from probably right underneath like the breast line all the way around, should be more looser filled. Okay. Alrighty, so that's that. I'm gonna set this head over here out of the way. Okay, so we got the arms on, we got the body done, now we'll do the legs. Okay, and we're gonna fill it to like right about there, right underneath the knee. And if you can see it, it's just about level with this crease right here. Just about level all the way. So that's where I like to do it. If your customer or yourself, if you're restuffing your doll yourself, if you want more weight, the best thing to do to add more weight would be to add it into the middle of the body and the head. Because if you add more weight to the limbs, you could add a little bit more weight to the limbs if you wanted to. But I don't really like to add too much weight to the limbs because then it makes them really heavy. And especially on jointed bodies, or even on regular bodies. But on jointed bodies, that weight really pulls on those joints. And that's what can cause like limbs to fall off and stuff. And even on full limbs, they can pull out. Even if you use the zip ties, you know, if those limbs are too heavy and they're played and the doll's being played with and pulled on and stuff, it's gonna pull out. So it works better if you don't weight them too much. You just want to weight them just enough to give life to them, but you know, not too much. And then you're gonna stuff the little joint. And this body for this kit could be used with a full limb legs, 3/4 arms, full limb legs. I currently don't have one, and actually the way that this kit is made with this long torso and everything, she looks just as good on this body. So some of these kits are versatile into like which bodies can be used with them. So you'll just have to try out, see what you like better or whatever. But I think because this body is so long that it doesn't like make her limbs look out of proportion at all. I think it looks nice. Okay, filling up the other one. Oops. Okay, I don't know if you can see it. There you go. Okay. And then I'm pulling glue in. Make sure they feel the same. Okay, so there we go. Like that. See, I think she feels pretty good. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to set the magnet. There it is. Okay. So I like to use on setting my magnets, I prefer to use a hot glue gun. But I guess I could use a hot glue gun. I do have it. I like to set it with a hot glue gun because, for one, it takes seconds for it to stick, and then you can move on with the rest of the filling it up. If you use the E6000, it takes a few hours to set. Like, it takes a long time, maybe 30 minutes, I don't know. I don't use it very often, I don't like to. It's very messy. So I prefer to use a hot glue gun. Just the regular cheapy hot glue gun that you get at a craft store, dollar store even. You can get them for like a couple bucks. Okay, I have clear glue in here, but I cannot find my clear glue sticks, so I'm going to use this silver to push that clear glue through. So I'm not using the silver, although I have had to use it once before. But nobody sees inside your head, so, or on your pacifier, you know. So this one I had already glued the pacifier thingy on. Although I got some glue on the actual magnet, so we just gotta wait for that thing to heat up. It's got some hot glue strings on it. Okay. So anyways, I've already glued this one on. So you just cut it off with an X-Acto knife, and then you put some glue on, hot glue on it, and you put the magnet on there. Okay, that's what I use to set the magnet in the head. So I make my pacifier first. Here's my cat. Okay, I drop the magnet in there onto the mouth, and then I put the pacifier where I want it to be. Okay, so now we can look to see where it can be straight. Sometimes with these lips that stick out, sometimes they're difficult. Okay, but then once we got it to where it's placed, then I will just set the head upside down, and then we'll drop the glue in. It'll take a few minutes, it's very slow. What else? So once we get it all set, hot glue takes seconds for it to cure, so that all you can do is fill it up now. Takes forever. I know. Okay, so for me to check, I just push it through, make sure. Not ready. Come on. You want it to be really hot. So after we did these two things, you have this much left of your nylon. I usually tie it off. and it can be used for your next baby. And depending on how big the baby is, you could get two more balls out of this. But it really depends on how big the baby is that you're doing next. And this is a little bit more difficult to tie, but it still works. No sense in wasting. It is usable. So 1 to 2 more balls of glass beads you can do with this out of one stocking, which is kind of nice. But a lot of people, they do double stack these, which is definitely needed whenever you use some of those really fine beads that are kind of dusty and smaller that go through these nylons. But these beads are excellent because they don't leak, they don't go through them, they're nice. It's like a stress ball. Alright. I think it's ready. Okay, that's about ready. So, what I do is basically you just make sure that pacifier is in the right spot. Make sure it looks straight, and that's where you want it. Then you're just going to aim down, and you can see where that is. And you're just going to cover the glue all over the top of that magnet. So it's still messy putting in there. There you go. Strings. But it's definitely not as messy as the... So it just basically looks like a webbing in there. A webbing of glue over top of it to keep it sealed in there. And I'll show you here just a second. Oops. Okay. So hopefully you'll be able to see it. Yeah, if you can see that, it's just like a webbing over it. And it keeps it in place. So, give it just a few seconds. Let's try to figure out where my camera is at. There you go. So, it's on there. So, we can remove that. Shake it around, everything. It's on there. It ain't going nowhere. See? Still in there, still in its place. Okay? So that works really nicely, and you do the exact same thing with E6000. It's just it takes longer for it to dry, and it's a pain in the butt. Occasionally, the hot glue, if this head does not get packed tight enough or anything, then that will come loose. I mean, I had it on one of my dolls. It did come loose. The head wasn't packed quite as tight, and that was what the problem was. Is it was able to move around in the head when it got flopped around, and it just broke loose. But if you keep the head packed tight, yeah, no issue. So I like to put the filling in to cover the face. And then I'll put this little thing in, and you just kind of work it in there. You just kind of work it in there, just kind of little at a time. You don't want the base of the bag to break, and shake it down in there. Okay? You want to keep the weight more towards the face, not towards the back of the head, because you don't want the head to flop backwards. So then you're going to stuff the polyfill all the way to the back and over top of that bag of beads. Okay, make sure it's tight in there. Now, if she wanted to root this doll, then of course she would have to take out the filling and take out the bead bag in order to root it. And then you would have to seal it, and you could seal it with E6000. They also have an E6000 spray. I'm pretty sure I saw somebody mention that. But I've also used Elmer's glue spray. That works excellent. Definitely a spray adhesive works amazing compared to having to get the E6000 or Mod Podge even and using something to paint it in. It's just not always that fun. But spraying it in, oh, it's so nice. And then you would repack the head just the same way, putting the weight at the front of the face and packing it in with the polyfill. You kind of use a lot. You use more than you think with the polyfill in the limbs and in the head. You don't, it's just, you really do use more than you think you would. So you make sure that that's tight, it's not going anywhere. And also, if you were to undo this, like to root this head or whatever, the magnet may come loose at that time. And if the magnet comes loose, it's no big deal. You can hot glue it back in and then just do what I just did. Or you can use E6000. It's not going to come loose if you use E6000. It is more sealed and permanent because that glue is a lot more, it's a lot stronger glue than hot glue is. It's a lot stronger. So it will stay in place a lot better actually than hot glue, but I've not had any issues except for that one doll, and it was because it wasn't all the way sealed. But I fixed it and I've not had any problems since, so. And I've never had any of my customers complain or say that it was an issue, so I'm going with it. Created over 80 or 100, I don't remember, I have the number somewhere, how many reborns I've created for customers, and I've not had any complaints. So if anybody has a complaint, definitely let me know so I can get that situated. Alright, so this is a newborn baby look. I like it. So I like her head is a little heavy, like you have to support her like a newborn baby. And we'll get her all tied up here and I'll show you. Alright, box scratches, awesome. Okay. Alright, so this is her. Yeah. Okay, so jointed bodies. Jointed bodies, they do make limbs go crazy, but they're so nice in posing your baby, and the cuddle factor is definitely more there. Like, they're so cuddly. But you can curl her up into position. And curl her up. I mean, she just cuddles, you know. Her head is heavy, so just like a newborn baby, you have to support it. The limbs are just enough dangly that, you know, it feels realistic, especially when she's wearing clothes. It's definitely a lot more realistic. Okay, give me just a minute and I will get her total weight. Let's see, I need a thing. So her total weight is 3 pounds 13 ounces of dead weight, which does not sound like a lot, but like holding her and everything, she feels really nice. Like I wouldn't weight her anymore, but you definitely could. So you definitely could weight her more if you wanted to, put more weight in her body or her head. But for me, I like the way that she is weighed. I think she feels realistic. Yeah, it definitely feels realistic. So I'm good with her weight at this weight. You can always add more, you know, if your customer wants more weight, you know, gotta do what they want to do. But I think she's perfect. And like, I like her fluffiness, and she's good. Alright, I'll show you with her clothes on here in just a second. I suppose I could show you getting her dressed and everything, all ready to go to her new home. She is a blank kit. She was sold with an air dry set that I had, and the one who purchased her is going to paint her, and I'm going to send her home with this little outfit. It's a little headband. She needs a little diaper. And there we go. Fully assembled and weighted. She's so cute. Alright, where did the pacifier go? It is somewhere. Where did it go? There we go. And she is all ready to go. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it helped you. Thank you. Thank you for watching.